Hey folks, welcome aboard. It's the depths of winter here in Colorado, so boat work's pretty much ground to a halt. I haven't posted a video in a while, and I wanted to catch up with you as to what our plans are and what got in the way of us sailing on Lake Superior this past summer. So first up, plans. We're planning to get back to Lake Superior, back to the Bayfield Washburn area of Wisconsin on the south shore of Lake Superior. A great spot, and we really enjoyed being up there. Good folks too. I have a solar arch which I need to install. I have the parts ready. Hope to install that when we get up there, and then from there, hopefully if I need parts, it's a good place to get parts. But from the Apostles, we plan to sail across the lake over to the North Shore and eventually hit Isle Royale, a long-term goal for us, and see some more of the North Shore in that area between Minnesota and Canada. So I'll post videos of that trip late next summer, I suppose. In the meantime, I have a few videos coming up. One on replacing handrails on the overhead here over the cabin, and also forming some teak railing that goes over the cabin trim. That was an interesting experience. Anyway, after the handrails, I have another video. I'll do the interior, tour of the interior here so you can see what we have, going through electrical and plumbing systems and shower, sump, all those things. That'll be on the interior tour. I'll throw in some video that I have archived from last summer on the exterior of the boat. Anyway, following that, I finally will be sharing some of the solar arch installation. That'll be on a separate video, but first thing up will be the handrails and so forth. But I'll eventually get to this rudder issue, and that's what hung us up this past summer. The gudgeon, which there's just one that holds the rudder to the keel, and it's at the base of the rudder and at the base of the keel, and it was formed out of originally, this boat was made in 1979, the original material was manganese alloy bronze. Over time, some of that bronze or metal actually leaches out into the water, and particularly salt water. So that alloy of bronze, that gudgeon, had deteriorated to the point where one of the wings on the gudgeon actually broke off, and the only thing holding that gudgeon onto the keel were two bolts. I had that welded together, but upon further inspection, you could see a number of crazing, or cracks I should say, forming in that metal that eventually lead to another failure. So I decided to scrap that old gudgeon and have a new one cast out of siliconized bronze. The silicon bronze alloy, I think it's 615, is a lot more robust than salt water. So I had that formed. It was very close in dimensions to the old gudgeon. But after we refurbished our rudder, and I should say that rudder was leaking water, in other words, water was leaking into it, and there's a seam. This rudder is actually made in two halves. It's and then also glassed together, but not actually, I'm not sure if it's glass, but anyhow, the old formation was such that it had a visible seam, and water was getting into that seam. And when we had taken the boat out after it had been in the water for 2-3 months back in 2023, I could see water leaking out of the bottom rudder post. And that bottom rudder post fits into the gudgeon. But anyway, water was leaking out of that. Water was leaking out of the sides. And I figured, well, we need to fortify that rudder. So we glassed it, all and encapsulated it in 1708 fiberglass. And we'll have a video about that coming up. But when all was said and done, we went to replace the rudder, and it didn't match up with the gudgeon that I had made, a new one that I had made. But the old one was the same size, same dimension. So what gives? The rudder is not out of shape, or it seems to be lining up otherwise with the keel. The gap's constant. So, and that gap, I mean the gap between the keel and the rudder, is constant. So we don't know what caused this displacement of the rudder. and that has to be resolved before we can get the gudgeon back on, or I might need to get another gudgeon recast. Well, once we get that problem solved, I'll post that video on refurbishing our rudder. And if somebody's got an idea what I might have gotten off there, the rudder post that extends up into the bottom of the keel, not keel, but the transom, comes up to the tiller. That post did not exhibit cracks or bending, so it's not that post. The bottom post didn't have any cracks around it. That goes into the gudgeon receiving socket on the heel of the gudgeon. So we're at a loss what's going on there. So if you got some ideas or experienced something similar, let us know, please, in the comment section. So in the meantime, that's what's planned, what's on the agenda. And here now in the depths of winter, it's a good time to read, learn, and make plans for the next summer. And then on the warm days, get a little bit more boat work done. And in the meantime, have fun skating and skiing. So, hope to see you soon in the next video.